Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nama Om Vishnuvadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shamati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschitya Deshtarne Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakapatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita ki jai. So welcome devotees to our 61st evening session on Brihad Bhagavatamrita. And we are in the 4th chapter of the second part, and we are around verse 76 or 77. 77, I'll just read verse 76 first. And, well, I imagine you remember, because it's just, what a story. Gopakumar goes to Vaikuntha, and the whole experience, he's waiting out at the front. The devotees who brought him, they went in to, I don't know, get permission to bring him in or something like that. Just, to get it cleared that they could bring him in. So he's waiting, and he sees all these various devotees arriving. And initially he thinks that they're the Lord, each one, one after the other. This must be the Lord, because they're just such totally incredible personalities compared to what he's used to and just compared to anyone. And eventually they come back, those devotees who went in to check things. They come back and they say, okay, let's go. They take him in. And, all the experiences he has as he goes and all the things he sees. And finally they come to the palace of the Lord, which has at its feet many other palaces. Really amazing palaces, which would make Buckingham Palace look like, an outbuilding. Or the president's residence at, Anyway, I've seen the one in Pretoria and the one in Cape Town. Just make those look like not even outbuildings, just, I don't know, some sort of dump. That's just the other palaces which are standing at the feet of the great palace of Lord Narayan. So in they go. In they go. The fullness, this is verse 76, the fullness of the ecstasy this sight brought on made me forget what the attendants of the Lord had instructed me. What had they instructed him? That you stand at a distance, you bow down, then you get up like this, and then you wait for further orders or something like that. So, forgetting what those attendants of the Lord had instructed me, I cried out again and again, "Oh Gopal, my life and soul!" And I ran forward to embrace the Lord. So, of course, he's been chanting the 10-syllable Gopal mantra all the time. I mean, yeah, so much. And here he sees, this is him. This is Gopal. Yes. So he ran forward. Some discerning attendants who were standing at the Lord's side held me back, and I was heartbroken. I cried out in helpless distress again and again, overcome by my own excessive love, and fell unconscious in front of the Lord. When will that day come, devotees, where we'll just run to the Lord, just overcome by love and the desire to serve? With some effort, those attendants lifted me up, and after some time I regained my consciousness. I wiped away with my hands the flood of tears that blocked my sight, and with difficulty I finally opened my eyes. Then I heard the Lord, that best of merciful persons, tell me in a deep, gentle voice, "Please come back to your senses. Dear boy, come here quickly." It's the Lord speaking. I then felt the highest limit of joy. I danced all around as if seized by madness and stumbled about. But with great endeavor, the Lord's servants calmed me down, and at last I awakened from that trance. The Supreme Lord said, "Welcome, welcome, my dear boy. I am fortunate, most fortunate, to meet you here. For so long I've been eager to see you." This is the Lord is saying, that I am fortunate. For so long I've been eager to see you. My dear friend, this is the Lord continuing. My dear friend, you've passed many lifetimes without paying any attention to me at all. For so long, hope had me dancing like a fool, thinking, perhaps in this lifetime, or this, or this, or this, he will finally turn his face towards me. But I could find no pretext on which to bring you to my abode, dear brother, and still follow the timeless laws that I myself have created. So, this is the Lord. The Lord feels like this. Of course, we must not become proud and think, I'm so important, the Lord is missing me. The Lord is sort of dependent on me. Krishna. We have to remain humble because we have extremely little to be proud of. If there's anything to be proud of, it's simply that we got some mercy from the Lord. So, but it's a fact. The Lord is watching us and waiting for us. And, we've all become devotees now. We're all practicing, trying to be devotees. But, I don't know about some of you. You were brought up from childhood as a devotee, right? From birth, right? I wasn't. For my first 21 years, I couldn't tell you because you'd be too shocked. You just walk out. You just walk out thinking, why should I listen to this person? So generally, we all, each one of us, we have our past when we were not Krishna conscious and we were just lost in material life. And Krishna was watching us. And Krishna was thinking, come on. And Krishna was making different little arrangements to help us move in the direction of coming to this point that we have reached now, of becoming engaged in devotional service. But the Lord feels, the Lord loves, the Lord feels. The Lord is a person, a very sensitive person. And therefore he says, perhaps in this lifetime, or this, or this, or this, a number of lifetimes, Gopa Kumar, according to this, he was just absorbed in material existence. And the Lord was feeling that maybe in this lifetime, oh, he didn't make it. Maybe in the next lifetime, oh, he didn't make it. But now maybe the next lifetime, I tried to attract him, but I couldn't do it. He or she was just too attached to material life. And then he says, the last verse we just read, that I was trying to find some pretext. How can I bring him? Pretext means like you remember. Yeah, you remember when we're going through the first part that, I think it was here or was it in Johannesburg, we were reading how Maharaj Yudhisthira wanted to get Krishna to come to Hastinapur. Do you remember that? Or maybe it was while we were in Joburg. Anyway, Maharaj Yudhisthira, he and the Pandava brothers, they'd had a lot of association with Krishna. But now they've become the kings in Hastinapur, and Krishna's gone to Dwarika. So they didn't get to see Krishna so much. So they would think of some pretext. Means something not really honest. Like they thought of sending out a message to Krishna. Our enemies have gathered around Hastinapur. They're going to attack any day. Please come and protect us. But there were no enemies who had gathered around. It's just a story, a pretext, somehow to get Krishna. Or to tell Krishna, we're going to have a big sacrifice, Rajasuya or something like that. Huge sacrifice. You must come. But they were not going to have a sacrifice. They just wanted to get Krishna to come. So the Lord says here, I could find no pretext on which to bring you to my abode and still follow the timeless laws that I've created. In other words, the only pretexts, excuses he could find for just grabbing Gopakumar and just dragging him back to Godhead, the only reasons he could think of would have meant breaking the laws of religion. Like bringing someone back to Godhead who's just not ready, who's still a conditioned soul. Because conditioned souls can't go back to Godhead. They'll create disturbance. Like even imagine yourself. If I imagine myself, if I had been taken back to Godhead, way back when I was in my late teens and around 20, what a disturbance I would have created in Goloka Vrindavan. And you can imagine that, someone is brought back to Godhead, but the person is still a meat eater. And, chasing around after the opposite sex and listening to, some really non-devotional music. And they arrive back in Goloka Vrindavan or Vaikuntha, that, okay, where's the Kentucky Fried Chicken? No, we only have Govindas. Where can I get a burger? Oh yeah, we have nice veggie burgers. No, not a veggie burger. And what about the disco? I want to hear some music. Huh? Oh, okay, the Grateful Dead. I was thinking more of the Rolling Stones. What's her name? What's his name? The very famous Shah Rukh. Shah Rukh Khan. What else was I saying? Yeah. Where we can get a drink? Oh yeah, we have nice nectar drink. Panchamrita. No, I mean more like, what do you call it? What do they drink here? The cane spirits. Mainstay. No mainstay. Nimbu Pani. And then, even though you're in Goloka Vrindavan, you'll be thinking, I gotta get out of here. You know what I mean? So he wanted to bring Gopakumar back, but for people to go back to Godhead before they are ready is against the laws of religion. They have to be up to sufficient standard. So the Lord is saying that, I wanted to, but if I had done it, I would have broken my own laws. And I just can't do that. So I couldn't. But now you've come. So he continues. You showed me no mercy. And as I considered this, I grew impatient, full of anxiety to receive your favor. So I transgressed my eternal code of conduct, and arranged for you to take your current birth. So he just, he transgressed. I mean, it's like he broke the rules, at least to some degree. Dear boy, in that divine district of Govardhan, my most beloved abode, I myself became your guru, known by the name Jayanta. So just see how the Lord intervened. And Prabhupada, wow, has intervened in our lives. Wow, just stepped into the middle of the confusion and chaos, and really made some arrangements. Today you have at last fulfilled the desire I have harbored for so long. Please come back. But today you've fulfilled that desire. Please nourish your happiness and mine by staying here forever. So the Lord is saying very humbly, what good have I ever done for you? But you've done the greatest good for me by coming here. So in the other places, Gopakumar, initially, I'm sure you all remember, in the other places, Gopakumar initially was so happy, just so happy. He had been given the darshan of some form of the Lord, and he thought, this is it, this is my Lord, this is who I've been looking for. But then, before long, he would become frustrated and want to go. So the Lord here is hoping that Gopakumar will overcome his sort of itchy feet. The travel bug. He's kind of got a travel bug. The Lord's hoping he'll overcome that and settle down in Vaikuntha with the Lord and just become one of the team and just stay there. 88, Sri Gopakumar said, maddened by drinking the beverage of the Supreme Lord's words, so intoxicating, I was unable to offer him praise or to understand or do anything. Just in front of us appeared a number of flute players, dressed as cowherds like me. They very affectionately encouraged me, gained my trust, pulled me into their midst, and urged me to play my flute. In various styles, I played this very dear flute of mine, born on Govardhan Hill. And in this way I satisfied the ocean of all skillful arts, the reservoir of all mercy, Sri Madhava, along with his associates. Okay. So, he's been carrying a flute with him the whole time, which he got, when he was back at Govardhan long before. And all his travels here and there through the different planetary systems, He's been carrying his bamboo flute from Govardhan, and he's got the same flute now in Vaikuntha. When the time came to stop, everyone, on the request of Lakshmi Devi, started to leave, but I didn't want to go. The devotees had to persuade me to let them escort me outside. Though in Vaikuntha I was approached like everyone else by transcendental opulences, I avoided them. I refused to show even the splendors that spontaneously appeared within me. I resided there in the same form I had always had, that of a cowherd boy. He's just got such a feeling for that, the position of being a cowherd boy, that wherever he goes, even in Vaikuntha, he just stays in that form. He doesn't want any other form, even though he's offered transcendental forms like here, particularly in Vaikuntha. And that is because he is a cowherd boy eternally in Goloka. But he hasn't quite understood that yet. It's more just like some sort of attraction to being a cowherd boy. It just comes to him naturally. But it's not that he understands this is who I am eternally. In Vaikuntha, all opulences are purely spiritual, full in eternity knowledge and bliss. Appearing whenever one desires, they willingly submit themselves to one's control. Lots of opulences. Thus, there is opulence, even in what seems like its absence. And when opulence is visible, the devotees still feel as if they possess nothing. That is the special nature of Vaikuntha. So yes, every Vaikunthavasi has access to control, personal control over infinite energies, whether he or she chooses to display them or not. And even when they use those energies, those opulences, and they do something special, they still feel meek and humble. Like, who am I? I'm nothing. But my Lord, he's amazing. In any case, by the strong influence of my previous practice, I continued to pay serious attention to my worship of the Supreme Lord, and always happily behaved like an insignificant person. In my heart, I then concluded that by the great mercy of the Lord, I had now surely gained the ultimate fruit to be acquired from all my prior births and endeavors. Oh, what unimaginable happiness! What an exalted abode! What a wonderful master! And how greatly wonderful his mercy! After some time, by the Lord's kindness, I obtained the intimate personal service of fanning him with a chamara, and I constantly felt the bliss of seeing the Lord as I played for him on my flute. Well, it's not exactly clear. Maybe sometimes he fanned him and sometimes he played the flute. I guess it's more likely. Or perhaps he was fanning with one hand and playing the flute with the other. Could be. But probably separately. You know, we have had, I've had before, one-man kirtan, just me, with mridanga and kartals. Seriously. Left hand sitting down, left hand playing the mridanga, and right hand sitting down with the kartals down, one resting on the ground and the other one playing on it. Yeah. By the habit of my past practice, over and again, I would sometimes loudly chant in various ways, "Oh, Krishna, Gopal." These two names of the Lord are especially dear to Gopakumar. So it indicates that slowly the seed of discontent is starting to grow in his heart a bit. Verse 100, I always sang openly in excellent prayers of his activities in Gokula, which reveal his greatest glories. So you see, it's coming out. His activities in Gokula, Vrindavan. It's really starting to come. The residents of that place, laughing with hearts melted by affection, often came to me when I was outside the Lord's presence and spoke to me in no uncertain terms, like teachers instructing a student. The residents of Vaikuntha said, "You should not address the Lord of Lords like this, and don't sing his praises that way. Just recite the standard prayers about his unlimited, most amazing glories. Stop all this Krishna, Gopal, and all that sort of very emotional, kind of slightly wild, heartfelt chanting. To annihilate the wicked and protect the civilized, and to cheat Kamsa, the Lord disguised himself as a cowherd by his illusory energy." You see, this is what they think. They think that Krishna in Vrindavan is a Leela avatar, a pastime expansion of Narayan, the Lord of Vaikuntha. They don't understand, it's sort of around the other way. Krishna's the origin and Narayan is the expansion. 104. Devotees of the Lord have little regard for tales of his illusory affairs. Such narrations may be suitable in the beginning of devotional practice, but they do not factually glorify the Lord. So these stories, they're a little confused, these Vaikuntavasis. They think that the stories of the Lord's pastimes in Vrindavan, they're just tales of the Lord's illusory affairs. And they're okay for beginners. They're okay for beginners. But for mature devotees, we don't do like that. We're much more formal and serious. Verse 105. But some of those residents of Vaikuntha said, among the Lord's inconceivable activities, those playful pastimes are also his. So there's no fault in chanting about them. So there are two groups there. One take it that any of the Lord's pastimes other than being Lord Narayan, they're just temporary illusory manifestations. But others understand they're all eternal and glorious. So the Lord's activities, they say, are beyond logical analysis. Then a few extremely exalted devotees stopped all the others and angrily said, "Really? Why are you talking like this, as if you had no intelligence?" Sure. Krishna is so kind to his devotees that Sankirtan of any of his activities is glorious and beneficial and satisfying to our divine master. So these are the most advanced devotees, and they understand things the most clearly. That all the Lord's pastimes are transcendental, they're all wonderful, they're all auspicious, and they're all beneficial for the devotees. Verse 108. Sri Gopakumar said, at first the words of the Vaikuntha Vasis had made me feel embarrassed. Then I felt satisfied, although in truth the inner core of my heart was not fully appeased, because his attraction to Vrindavan is growing up. I felt somewhat discouraged that I couldn't see the unique form, pastimes, and other features of the lotus feet of my worshipable Lord, Sri Gopal. So he couldn't see the Lord's cowherding pastimes, just the Lord of Vaikuntha. But then I would see Lord Vaikuntha-nath, the most exalted knower of everything. I would see him as the darling son of Nanda Maharaj, see Lakshmi and Dara as Radhika and Chandravali, and see the Lord's personal attendants as the young boys of Vraja. So the thing is that Lord Narayan, the Lord of Vaikuntha, he understood that Gopakumar was just feeling unsettled and, like, I don't know if this is the right place for me. Maybe I should go elsewhere. So therefore, Vaikuntha-nath, Lord Narayan, he made these arrangements so that these different his associates, residents of Vaikuntha, would take on these appearances to satisfy Gopakumar. Yet my mind would still feel sad because I couldn't see the Lord and his companions play as they do here in the land of Vraja. Occasionally in the gardens of Vaikuntha, I would see my Lord appear as in Vraja, performing his pastimes. And I would see the gardens filled with herds of cows. At other times, I would see him sitting as usual on his throne in all splendor, but looking just like my Lord Gopal. Wow. He'd see Lord Narayan appearing as in Vraja, doing Vrindavan pastimes, herding cows, and then see him sitting on his massive, most incredible throne, but looking like Gopal. Even so, because I knew that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and because I remembered that I'd come to Vaikuntha Loka, feelings of respect and reverence would arise in me, and these would block my pure love and leave my mind dissatisfied. That's amazing. That's his eternal relationship with the Lord coming through. You know, we studied Nectar of Devotion. And you may remember when we studied, chapters 15 and 16, Raganuga Bhakti, that deep within each one of us is already an eternal relationship with the Lord. We don't know what it is yet, but it's there. And as we keep practicing and chanting and trying to progress in Krishna consciousness, that eternal nature, eternal relationship slowly, gradually starts showing, and become aware that, oh yes, in Goloka Vrindavan I am whatever it may be. In the case of Gopakumar, I am a cowherd boy. He has not exactly understood it specifically, that I am a cowherd boy in Goloka Vrindavan. But what he does understand, and what he feels regularly, is that I don't belong in any of these other places. I just really want to be in Vrindavan as a cowherd boy. But it's not totally clear that I am a cowherd boy. It's just I'm so attracted to this that anything other than this, it's not sufficient. The special favors I'd received from Gopal Dev in my meditation, his embraces, his kisses, the mercy I'd directly obtained, though this is what I desired, oh, here I couldn't have it, and so I felt afflicted. Because Lord Narayan, he doesn't really interact like that so much. So Gopakumar was hankering for these types of interactions, embraces, kisses, loving words, but he wasn't getting those things. (115) Sometimes the Lord would secretly go somewhere with a few of his intimate associates. Then everyone else who had been near him would lament, unable to see their master. When I would ask what the Lord was doing on these outings, everyone would keep the facts from me like privileged secrets. No one would disclose anything clearly. Sure. Amazing. Then, at the very moment I inquired, the Lord of the universe would reappear before us, putting our distress to an end and enlarging our joy to an ocean. Whenever my mind, by its own nature, would become disturbed, the vast splendors of the Vaikuntha world would dispel my agitation, as the sun dispels darkness. Whenever it seemed that I had not achieved the object of my desire, and when my heart would therefore suffer, like many times before, I would remember the root cause of my incompleteness, and that understanding itself would drive away the pain. (120) Have not the slightest doubt, I would tell my mind. There is no attainment more desirable than living here in Vaikuntha. So why even raise the question? O fickle heart, now use your intelligence, therefore, to cast this lower nature far away. It doesn't belong here. There's nothing greater than to reside in Vaikuntha, no greater goal. Consider the hundreds of arguments that support this truth and achieve the highest peace. After thus instructing my mind, I would look at myself in my Satchitananda form and see myself constantly relishing what seemed the highest happiness, intense and amazing, from worshipping the Supreme Lord in Vaikuntha. Thus I resided in Vaikuntha, sometimes joyful and sometimes disturbed. Then one day Narada found me in a secluded place. And you know what Narada did? Wow. Oh my gosh. Tune in on Monday and find out. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita ki jai. Srila Sanatana Goswami ki jai. Go Premanande.